But moving on, this is where we're going to start getting a little bit of that AFC West, NFC East mix going. We're going to be going with the Las Vegas Raiders at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are going to be 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44. Vegas is going to be plus 165 on the money line. Washington minus 195. Nobody talks Raider football on this pod before Raider Jim. So, Mr. Martinez, the floor is yours.
Yeah, going into this game, I'll get to the Raiders in a minute, but going into this game, it's all going to come down to, it's like when we talk about the horses and things like that. This is going to come down to game time, or maybe, Friday when they make the final announcements. If Jayden Daniels plays, Washington wins. Washington covers the 3.5. If Noah Brown plays, same thing, because they're both just questionable right now. However, if they don't play, if Jayden Daniels does not play, then the Raiders have a legitimate chance to cover at +4. That said, keep your eye on what they say about the personnel. Now, here's the other thing, though. Here we go. 10% chance of rain in Washington at game time. But the Las Vegas Raiders have a number 1 draft pick who it's going to take him 3 games to reach 100 yards as a number 1 draft pick at the running back position. Part of the reason for that, I watched how they played the first 2 games. I saw some good highlights. And you know what? If you don't own the box, if you don't control the box, the only way you can go is outside. And if you can't get blocking outside, then guess what? Your back ain't going to do nothing. He is good. He's got the potential. But wow, you got to open doors for this kid, or he's not going to be, he's not Saquon Barkley by any means. And I was thinking, getting ready to put something on X later on. I was in the stands when I saw Marshall Faulk come out and make his debut carries for the Aztecs many, many years ago. Marshall was a different kind of a guy when he ran. He did have the cuts. He had the jukes. He had all that good stuff. But Marshall could go straight ahead and just keep going. I'm not seeing that coming out of Ashton Gentry yet, but I'm sure it'll get there. Had a friend of mine who's not even a Raider fan say, stick with him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Well, you know what? There's been too many number 1 picks that haven't produced for the Raiders for the last 20-something years. So the fuse on my patience is a little low. The offensive line is not controlling anything. Geno Smith, the analogy I gave one friend, I said, he looked like Pac-Man being chased by those things on the screen. They're all in a line behind him, just chomping at his ass, and he's trying to just get away. But that first play of the game told you what the theme was going to be. When he threw that interception, and thank goodness that, it didn't end up mattering that they held him to 3, but to give up 3 points inside 90 seconds at home, your home opener, that's a recipe for disaster right there. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that everything's going to play out like I'm saying. Give me the Raiders +4, but I don't think they're going to win. 44, I'll buy a point the other side. I'll say over 43. But this could just be as ugly as the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the one positive I will say about what the Raiders kind of have coming for them, the Commanders' defense is not very good. Now it's kind of similar to what we talked about with the Bears. Are they good enough, or is the Raiders offense good enough to make the Washington Commanders defensive inefficiencies matter? And I agree with your friend. Again, not a Raider fan. I think Ashton Gentry is going to be just fine, but you're right. He is not Saquon Barkley. He is not a Derrick Henry who can just run. He can run people over, but he can't run everybody over. You get him in space with a corner or a secondary safety, something like that, probably going to get it done. But he ain't running through a D lineman or many linebackers. I think the biggest issue for him is going to be twofold. Obviously, the offensive line, and the passing game needs to be somewhat of a threat. Because you mentioned the box, and all you really got to do, if you can play single coverage on everyone and stack the box, and when Geno drops back, you can get pressure. And as you mentioned, little Pac-Man, he's freaking out. Oh my gosh, I've got to find the big dot to turn these guys into ghosts. He's running around looking for that. My biggest concern for the Raiders is, I don't know, preparation is the right term, because obviously, look, I'm a huge Pete Carroll guy, but I was a little alarmed the last pass, or one of the last passes for Geno Smith. Look, he's been in the league for 10, 12 years, whatever it is. It's fourth and whatever. You can't throw the ball away. Again, like arm punt, like I know you've already thrown, or at that point he had already thrown 3 interceptions. I get it. I understand you don't want to but it looks so much worse just throwing the ball away. And again, I don't know if that's just in the moment he just forgot, or if the coaching staff isn't fully going through like, okay, Geno, you got to stay, you got to get rid of the ball, and we got to give ourselves a chance. I think the Raiders are in a little bit of trouble, but I'm kind of pulling back a little bit. I don't want to overreact. I want to see what the Raiders offense can do against a lackluster Commanders defense. And I'm hoping that Brock Bowers can get healthy, because if that knee is going to be an issue all season, that's going to be a big issue for this team. He is by far their best offensive player. And if he can't get healthy or stay healthy, it's going to be an issue. And that's really going to help Ashton Gentry as well, opening up the pass game. I like the Commanders in this one. And again, this is all based on Jayden Daniels playing. I'm just going to go with that assumption. Marcus Mariota is the backup for the Commanders, obviously a veteran. The one positive I will say that you don't really have to change the offense too much for Marcus Mariota. Obviously not going to be the same type of athlete that Jayden Daniels was, but he can still run, the quasi read options or RPOs, things like that. I am going to go under here. I know the Commanders defense isn't very good. Same with the Raiders, but until I see, a semblance of an offense from the Raiders, I'm going to stay under this. I got this as a 21-17, 21-14 type game. I think the Commanders get the job done. This is going to be interesting. I really do want to see, not just because I'm an Eagles fan and I want to see the NFC East lose, but I want to see the Raiders come out and maybe prove to a lot of us that, you know what, we weren't at our best on Monday night, but we're better than what they showed. But I got to see it first. So give me Washington -3.5, and the under 44.